Alright, it's Henry again, and this is part 5 of my work in progress for my 1 to 100 scale Virgo. And now that scratch building is complete, I'm ready to move on to resin casting, because I'm going to need copies of several of the parts I've built for not only Virgo, but Virgo 2, Mercurius, and Vega 8 as well. And I'm not going to bother going over the entire resin casting process in detail. If you want to see about that, you can go watch the resin casting tutorial I did last year. But I'll just be going over the highlights. One difference between last time and this time is that I've actually bought some Legos here to make my mold boxes. Since I'm going to be doing quite a lot of resin casting for the Oz project, I figured I would invest in some Legos. That'd be a lot more convenient, and I can already tell you they are a million times more convenient than making the mold boxes out of plot plate. So, I just bought a bucket of Legos. Unfortunately, I've only got enough Legos to make 2 mold boxes. I might go back and buy some more, but right now I've got 2 mold boxes made. And here you can see I've got the 2 thighs, the knee armor, and the knee joint. And in this one I've got the foot, ankle armor, the 2 little circles on the ankles, lower leg, and side skirt. And they're packed a little bit tightly in there. In fact, I probably want to move this foot over a little bit. But I think they should be okay. And from here I'll just be mixing up my silicone rubber and making the first half of the mold. Alright, I have poured the silicone resin and let it set overnight, so it is nice and firm now, and ready for me to take apart this box and pour the second half of the mold. Take these little Legos apart. If I can get them off, they're kind of tight. Really tight, in fact. There we go. Now, I had been a little bit worried about the silicone seeping through the bricks, and it seems here that they have done that a little bit, but the silicone rubber is such a thick liquid that it doesn't look like it seeped through very far, so this isn't really anything to worry about, I don't think. Alright, now that I've gotten all the Legos disassembled, I kind of cleaned up and got rid of some of that leaky silicone around the edges. Now we can take these and reveal the underside. What I'm going to be doing here is carefully peeling away this clay, which will leave our parts still firmly rooted in the silicone rubber. And there we go. That is the first half of the mold right there. Go ahead and take a look at this larger one. This brown clay kind of looks like chocolate. We don't have to worry about keeping this clay intact, because after this the clay will simply be balled up and put back in a Ziploc bag. Take this off. I've got a little piece of clay right here that was inside this ankle armor. Just because of the awkward shape of the ankle armor, I had to design it like that. And I think I'm just going to have to go in and kind of scoop this clay out. In fact, I got my little paint stirrer here. There we go. Get that out of there. Alright. And that is the second mold. Again, got a little bit of silicone that's overlapped here, and a little bit on these little round parts, but other than that, I think the first half turned out pretty successful. Alright, and now that I've got the first half of the molds done, I've reconstructed the Legos around the molds. So you can see I've already poured this one right here, And now all I have left to do is pour the second half of this second mold. And there we go. Right on top of there. And I think that is just about going to get everything covered. Alright, and after about 5 days of pouring silicone rubber, I now have all of my molds for Virgo. 6 in total. Got this mold for the foot, ankle armor, little circle thingies on the ankle, lower leg, side skirt. Here for the knee joint, knee armor, and the 2 thighs. This one right here for the beam cannon, the head, the planet defensor. Over here, I have a really long mold for the hands. I'm actually going to be using these on all of the Oz Project kits. Right here, the forearm, shoulder joints, elbow joint, and bicep. And then this enormous mold right here. This is the biggest mold I've ever made for the lower torso, upper torso, and waist section. So now that all of the molds are done, we are ready to start resin casting. Alright, now for the actual resin casting part. Now I'm not going to bother showing you every single part that I cast because, well, that would just be me doing this over and over again for like 15 parts or so. But I will show you this one. Alright. And if you've seen my resin casting demo, you've seen all this before. Not doing anything different, just same old, same old. Just showing it to you for the purposes of this work in progress video. I'm going to cast the lower leg for Virgo in this part. I've already done a few casts at this point. Alright, and I think our resin is properly mixed. Now let's pour it in here. Resin casting, pouring the resin is something you really have to get used to. It's not like pouring a regular liquid. You have to be really careful about it. Can't go too slow, can't go too fast. It's really something that and Gundog is barking at something. But I think that did it. In fact, I think I mixed up the perfect amount of resin. Mixed up half an ounce, and I think that was the exact amount needed for this lower leg. Close my door so you not hear him barking. As you can see, the resin here is already starting to turn solid. So I'll just give that a minute to set up. Alright, now that a few minutes have passed, this resin is nice and solid, and I think we can take the part out of the mold. Let's remove all these rubber bands. And there we go. Carefully pull that off. It's kind of stuck to the top here. There we go. Put that aside. And there is your nice resin cast lower leg. Now the trick is just getting it out. I will admit, I could have done a little bit better job arranging these parts in the molds. Alright, And there we go. It's got a little bit of flash around the edge. Nothing a hobby knife won't take care of. And that is the resin casting process right there. Cut a little bit of that away. And Virgo now has 2 legs instead of 1. Okay, and I have now recast all of the parts that I'll need for Virgo. I didn't make casts of all of the parts that I made molds for, at least not yet. These right here are just the parts that I needed for Virgo. Some of the parts I made molds for earlier, I'm going to need for Virgo 2, Mercurius, and Vey 8. And with a little bit of sanding and cleanup, we now have perfect, identical reproductions of the original scratch-built parts I made. For example, here's the feet side by side, the side skirt here, there's the new ankle armor, original ankle armor, knee armor there, knee joint, lower leg, and of course the forearm. So now that that is done, we are ready to start articulating this kit. And after installing all of the joints, I finally, for the first time since the beginning of this project, have Virgo standing on his own 2 feet. And so far I'm really pleased with the way this kit is looking. The proportions, I think, actually look really nice. Now, Virgo is by no means complete at this point, as in before painting complete. Actually, I plan to spend another 2 or 3 days just going over the kit and refining and tweaking and just making sure everything is absolutely perfect, because I want this kit to be absolutely perfect. For example, like the little thrusters, there they are, that go on the shoulders. I gotta add those. I gotta add that little bar up under the neck. I gotta do a little bit more tweaking to the joints. I gotta add this little shield to the side of the beam cannon. Just little things to refine the kit and make sure everything is perfect before I get around to painting. And honestly, I'm not even giving myself a deadline at this point, because I'm just not going to stop until everything is perfect. And I just want this kit to be as good as it possibly can be. But so far, with the way it looks right now, I'm really pleased with what I've got. Also, before we go, the decals that I talked about in the last work in progress video arrived in the mail from Samuel. So these will definitely come in handy, or at least the Romefeller Foundation decals will. And I guess the next work in progress video will be painting the kit, and that should be a pretty short video. I'm not going to go over painting in too much detail. Doesn't really have a very complex color scheme anyway. So that about does it for this video, and with that, I will see you guys next time.